Well, hey there, friends. It's Chris from the Rate the Record podcast here, and you already know what time of the week it is because I do this every single week. It's the new music review. That means I've listened to 3 brand new tracks, and I have opinions on them, and I want to hear your opinions on them. You know how this whole conversation thing works that I've been doing all the time. So I guess the only thing we could do now is actually just jump into it, so why the hell not? And as I roll on over stage left, that is my reminder to tell you that if you like what you see in here today, make sure that you like the video and you subscribe to the channel. 2 very, very easy things to do to help support the channel, move it along very nicely. It only takes a couple of seconds each, so really not that much of your time. So if you could just like and subscribe, that's great. And also leave comments. The algorithm likes when you do that. Those comments being, your opinions on the songs that I'm talking about today. That's even better, way more specific. Regardless, free and easy. Do that. Thank you. Let's move on. So first up on the list today, we have the band Drab Majesty, a dark wave and shoegaze band based out of LA, and 13 years has seen a few full-length albums come out from this band and a couple of EPs, and they've recently made a brand new song for a new A24 film called I Saw the TV Glow that's coming out soon. I think it's actually coming out in a couple of days as of me recording this. I digress. They made a song for that, and it's called Photograph. So I feel as compared to other Drab Majesty songs that I've heard in the past, I feel like this one has a far more warmer new wave kind of feeling to it. They're known to do more again like the dark wave, shoegaze, dream pop kind of feel, but this one definitely goes into more of a new wave direction. Not necessarily that's a bad thing, but it kind of caught me off guard when I first started listening to it. With that said, I can say that it has a very friendly and easily accessible sound to it. I mean, there's reverb-soaked drums, as you would expect to hear in a song like this. The very clean and heavily chorused guitars as well, once again, just kind of goes with the style of the music and everything going on. And a mix of atmospheric and textural type synths that kind of just layer in the background, adding more, once again, texture to everything. It's a pretty catchy song and easy on the ears, so really there's not a whole lot wrong with this song. Even with the song being a bit catchy too, I didn't find it too earwormy at the very least. I mean, it's lively and it's warm, but I did find it gets kind of tacky at points. And what I mean by that too is, as much as this lives as a new wave type of revival, which has been happening for quite a while through synthwave anyways, this almost kind of feels like more of a parody of it than a revival, so I don't know. I don't really know what to think about that. Now, to be fair, maybe this plays more into the idea of what the movie itself is trying to present, and as of me recording this and as of me releasing this, I don't think the movie's out yet. I haven't seen it, so I don't really know what to expect from it. Maybe it will fit more into that particular narrative, because I know that they wrote it specifically for the movie, but as a standalone track, not knowing about the movie, the thoughts I've said previously are the ones I feel right now. And overall, I'll say that it's fine. There's nothing ultimately wrong with it, but there's also nothing particularly special about it either, unfortunately. It just feels like montage music that you would hear in an 80s movie or TV show or something along the lines of that, so it's a little cheesy in that. So I'll just say, do with this information what you will. Maybe you'll like this more than me. I didn't hate it, but I don't see myself going back to it too much. So coming up next on the list, we have the band Kittie, the heavy metal band out of London, Ontario, and they're continuing on with this cycle of singles that they've been releasing one after the other, eventually leading up to the release of their brand new album Fire, being released this June. And the third single from that project, though it actually technically debuted late last year live at a music festival, the album version is now officially out, and that song is called Vultures. One of the very first impressions I had of this track when I first kicked it into Spotify was the fact that I felt like they were pulling the best parts of their previous singles that they've released already of this particular album, and they've really kind of learned from it, used the strengths from it, and I think that's led to a very well-crafted and catchy track. One thing I really like too is that they play with metering a lot in this song. I don't know if it's a time signature thing, I don't know if it's like a swing or a triplet type of thing, but it did make it interesting to kind of get into upon multiple listens in this song too. And I will say that musical theory isn't really my strong point, so that's why I didn't really know where to go with this one, but it's something I at least notice. I like it. It makes the song a little more interesting. There you go. Easy note there. And like the other singles, and I'm pretty sure I've made this note when I reviewed those songs as well, the production's really on point with this one. You just got some good, crisp punchiness coming through every facet of this song and every instrument, and it really dials up the intensity of the track that's already pulsating a lot of life to it, so I don't know, I feel like this whole album's gonna be go, go, go when it finally drops. And overall, I can keep it that simple too, because again, it's not that long. I think it's like 3.5 minutes long, but regardless, I do like it. If just me kind of talking about it already hasn't made that obvious enough. I mean, I think the singles are just getting better and better as they've been released. I mean, Eyes Wide Open was really good. We Are Shadows was even better. I think this one's a lot more fun too, so this is another project that I just seem to be getting really excited about as it comes closer to the release date. I think we got a great one on our hands, and I can't wait to check it out when it finally drops. And finally on the list today, we have Julie Bateman, aka Julie Christmas, and she's a musician who's lent her voice to many projects, including Cult of Luna and Battle of Mice, among others. She's also done a round of solo music as well, that including her first solo album that she released back in 2010 called The Bad Wife, and here we are 14 years later, and this June she's set to drop her second solo full-length album called Ridiculous and Full of Blood. She's released a couple of songs from it already, but the latest one she just did, like literally hours before I recorded this, she dropped it, so I knew I had to add it in, and the song is called Thin Skin. The very first thing I noticed about this song, and this is going to kind of slightly contradict something I said during the Kitty review, was, man, this song has a really good, hard and punchy 7/8 groove to it. What's that about time signatures? What's that about music theory? I sometimes I know it when I hear it, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I can point it a little easier. This one was far easier for me to count, so that's why I could do that. But regardless, it caught my attention right away. It was really fun to listen to. I was like, okay, that's kind of neat, interesting. What else you got in this one? So to start off this review, I do want to talk a little bit about Julie Christmas herself, and this will tie in with the rest of the song because really it's a note that encapsulates her as a whole as a musician. I first discovered Julie Christmas about 7 years ago through my Spotify Discover Weekly playlist that came up. I remember I was on my way to college and the song Bones in the Water by Battle of Mice came on, and just her voice instantly struck me because of how strange it was, how raw and primal and aggressive it was. It's just something that kind of excited me right away. Because take those notes I just said about the raw, aggressive and primal sounds of her screaming and add this almost like teenage softness to her singing voice, so you contrast those two and she kind of throws them in, matches them in so well, and then add these very kind of unhinged little breaks and waverings in her voice that sound like she's ready to just kind of burst. And there's something about that style of presentation and everything I've heard her do that I've always kind of like really dug, and I can at least happily say that it's in full display in this song as well. With that said too, I can say that she is probably easily one of my favorite screamers, not just like a woman, but like period in general, like just one of my favorite screamers. A lot of people like obviously are really good at what they do, and there's a very specific craft and technique to what they do. Hers sounds like it would hurt just to try, but she pulls it off every single time. She sounds great every single time she does it. I don't know, I can't pinpoint a specific note about what I like so much about it other than what I just said, except for like maybe the sheer raw nature of it. It's just always caught my attention. It always catches me off guard when it comes to the hell out of nowhere, which makes it really exciting. And as I said, it's in display in this song too, so spoiler alert, I like this one too. I've said the word exciting, I've said the word unhinged. Well, there's a lot of points of that in this song, just a lot of exciting and unhinged moments that kind of pop up all over the song, and it really adds to that wow factor, so I'm just glad I can come into this and be so excited to listen to it multiple times. It's a short one too, just under 3 minutes long, so you don't have to sit too long through it, but to be quite honest, there's a lot of energy packed into this song to the point where I just felt I wanted to keep like resetting it and listening to it again and again and again, so I can only imagine what the rest of the album's gonna sound like. Overall, quite simply, this kicks ass. I love it. And the other singles that I've heard too, which are Not Enough and Supernatural, were also very great that I've heard on her Bandcamp page so far. And this is really lining up just to be a fantastic record. Like, you could try to tell me, you could like try to convince me that this is not going to be a good record, and I will, honest to God, try to believe you, but I feel like I'll just be wasting my time. And that's all I have to say about this week's NMR. Wow, this week more or less lined up pretty good. I mean, 2 for 3, that's a pretty decent battering average if you ask me. But more importantly, I want to know what you thought about the songs this week. So down in the comments below, make sure that you let me know what you thought of these songs. Do you agree with me, disagree with me? What are your specific opinions? Do you like these bands, dislike them? I don't care. What do you want to talk about when it comes to this music? Again, down in the comments below. I'm curious to see it. I always want to see it. So hey, go ahead and let me know. But hey, the comment section is not the only place that you can let me know that your opinions on things. You can also check our social media pages and let me know over there because, you know, I always post things for the NMRs and everything like that. And if you need to know where those social media pages are, find them at ratetherecord.ca. That is ratetherecord.ca. All the social media links, all the streaming links for the podcast. There's also merch over there. You can check out the Ko-fi page if you want to donate to the page and support financially, completely optional, but the option is there. There's probably something else I'm not mentioning, but regardless, everything is over there, again, including the social media links. So ratetherecord.ca, make sure that you're checking that out. Just a simple landing page, but everything you would possibly need. So other than that, it's been pretty quiet over on the Rate the Record channel, but there is an update video coming soon, update/announcement video regarding the podcast. I think if in my head, if I can remember things right off the top, I believe it's coming out next week, if not the week after. So about 1 or 2 more weeks, there's going to be a, quote, major announcement regarding the Rate the Record podcast. So make sure you stay tuned for that. I already kind of hinted at the idea of coming back with the asterisk at the end of it. Well, the asterisk you'll find out in the announcement video. But anyways, until then, that is that. Other than that, it's been pretty quiet on the channel. So you can go back and watch the ILTS videos I've released. I've done a couple in the last couple months. The NMRs that you've missed. Go binge watch the podcast. There's plenty to do. And there's also a world of music to listen to. So go ahead and go listen to some awesome music until I see you next time. Take care, friends.